You finally sit down, and the crying starts, not gradually, not after a few seconds of silence, the moment your weight shifts, the moment the cushion takes you, immediately. You've been awake for hours, you've fed them, you've changed them, you've done everything right, and still, you stand back up, silence, you sit back down, screaming. Every parent knows this feeling, and most of them have thought the same thing at 2 a.m., running on nothing, patience gone, that their baby is doing this on purpose. That feels true, doesn't it? The timing is too perfect to be coincidence. Baby calm. You sit, baby cries. You stand, baby calm. It happens every single time, like a reflex, like they're watching. So the theory makes sense. Baby learned that crying makes you stand up. Baby cries to make you stand up. That's operant conditioning. That's basic psychology. Sounds reasonable. And doctors even tell you not to give in. You're reinforcing the behavior, they say. You're teaching them that crying works. Sounds even more reasonable. But here's the problem. Manipulation requires something called theory of mind. The ability to model another person's mental state, to predict how they will respond to your actions. That ability doesn't exist in your baby's brain. Not even close. It won't develop until 18 to 24 months. A 6-week-old infant has zero capacity for intentional manipulation. Zero. So if it's not manipulation, what is it? In 2013, a team of researchers at the RIKEN Brain Science Institute in Japan decided to study this exact pattern. They measured what happens inside an infant's body when a mother picks them up and walks with them. Heart rate, cortisol, muscle activation, all of it. Here's what they found. The moment a mother lifted her crying baby and began walking, the baby's heart rate dropped within seconds. Crying stopped. Body went passive. The infant entered a calm, almost still state, in under 30 seconds. Then the mother sat down, 30 seconds later, crying. The researchers ran this across dozens of infants. The pattern was identical every time. They called it the transport response. And what caused it wasn't warmth. It wasn't the mother's smell. It wasn't even her heartbeat. It was the walking, the locomotion, the rhythmic physical movement of a body in motion. Your moving body is the only off switch your baby's nervous system has. That's not a metaphor. That's a measurable neurological event. But it raises a question, a big one. Why would walking, specifically walking, turn off a baby's distress system? Why not warmth? Why not voice? Why not touch? To understand that, you need to know something about one specific part of your baby's brain, a part that finished developing before they were born, before you even knew they were there. Researchers at the Montreal Neurological Institute have spent years studying how sensory systems develop in utero, and they found something that almost nobody talks about. The vestibular system, the balance organ in the inner ear, is the most mature sensory system in your baby's body at birth. More mature than vision, more mature than hearing, more mature than touch. It has been fully online since week 9 in the womb. Week 9. When your baby couldn't see, couldn't hear, couldn't feel your hand on your stomach, they were already sensing movement. Your movement, every step you took, every shift in your body, every time you stood up or sat down. For 9 months, your motion was their baseline, their normal, they're safe. And when you move, that vestibular input travels directly to the brainstem. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the calm and rest state, the same mechanism used in vestibular therapy for adults with severe anxiety disorders. It's not about love. It's not about attachment. Your baby has been calmed by your movement since before they were born. The most powerful calming tool you own is not your voice, not your face, not your warmth. It's gravity and physics and the fact that you are walking. But here's where it gets darker. In 2019, researchers at Harvard Medical School wanted to know what happens inside an infant's body at the exact moment a caregiver stops moving, not when they put the baby down, not when they leave the room, the moment they sit down, still holding the baby, still present, still warm, just still. What they measured next made the research team stop. Within 60 to 90 seconds of a caregiver going from motion to stillness while still holding the infant, the baby's cortisol levels spiked, not a minor fluctuation. The cortisol spike was equivalent in magnitude to the stress response triggered by a sudden loud noise. Let that land. You sit down. You are still there, holding them, warm, safe. And inside your baby's body, something fires with the same intensity as a bang in the dark, because the infant nervous system was never designed to interpret stillness as neutral. In the evolutionary environment that built your baby's brain, a caregiver, stopping motion abruptly meant one thing: something was wrong. Danger, injury, collapse, predator. Your baby doesn't know they're in a safe house in the 21st century. Their ancient brain only knows one thing: the motion stopped. Your baby isn't crying to test you. They're in a physiological emergency, not metaphorically, chemically, measurably. And here's the part that most parents never hear. Once that cortisol floods the infant limbic system, it shuts down the prefrontal areas, the parts responsible for settling, self-soothing, returning to calm. The baby cannot self-exit the distress loop. They need the motion to come back. Not because they're manipulating you, because you are the only exit. So, what does this mean for you tonight? 3 things. First, you were never spoiling them. What you were doing every time you stood back up and paced the hallway at 3 a.m., every lap around the kitchen, every slow circle through the living room, was providing a biological service. A service their nervous system cannot yet provide for itself. You were never spoiling them. You were their nervous system. Second, you cannot reason or train your way out of this in the first 6 months. This isn't a habit. It's not a learned behavior you accidentally reinforced. It's 50 million years of mammalian survival wiring. You are not working against a difficult baby. You are working against evolution. Third, the window is shorter than you think. Between 4 and 6 months, something shifts. The baby's own nervous system begins to mature. The cortisol response to stillness starts to reduce. The vestibular dependency begins to change. You are not building a pattern that lasts forever. You are bridging a developmental gap. Your body isn't just comfort, it's their biology. But before you go, there's something the same research says to watch for, and most parents never do. The transport response should be reliable. When you pick up your baby and walk, they should calm within 30 to 90 seconds. That's the expected response. Some infants don't show it. Some babies don't calm when carried and walked. The movement doesn't seem to reach them. They remain distressed regardless of motion, or they show only a partial response, reduced crying, but still agitated, still tense. Researchers studying the vestibular system found that this pattern, the absence or significant reduction of the transport response, was associated with vestibular processing differences. Differences that, when identified early, respond well to intervention. The key word is early. If your baby doesn't settle when you walk with them consistently, not just occasionally, mention it to your pediatrician. Not to alarm you, because the research is clear on this. The plasticity window in the first year is unlike anything that comes after. Earlier always produces better outcomes. Trust what you're noticing. You are the most finely calibrated instrument in the world for reading your own baby. Now, you know why your baby cries the second you sit down. It's not manipulation, it's not a phase, it's not something you caused, it's the oldest alarm system in mammalian biology, and you've been responding to it exactly right. But here's what researchers discovered when they studied the other side of this. What happens inside your baby's brain the moment you stand back up? The calming reflex that fires isn't just about motion. It's about a specific neural pattern that has only been documented in one other situation in all of human neuroscience. Only one. That's the next video.